The curious case of Orchid Pharma. Orchid Pharma has given a crazy 12,066% return in the last few months. Another Ruchi Soya in the making. Or is it different this time? Stock markets is a funny game. Something bizarre happens every once in a while. Sometimes it gives the best lessons in economics, sometimes on human psychology. Something outwardly is happening with the stock prices of Orchid Pharma. The shares of this unsuspecting and innocent company got listed on 3rd November 2020 at Rs 18. But just within 5 months, the stock prices have soared to a whopping 2,220 rupees, currently as we are writing the script, at 12,066% return on investment. This return will put Bitcoin on shame, which only gave a 218% return in the same period. फिर से train miss कर दी. Well, before you slip into a bubble of regret, let's understand what's going on and if the train was even worth catching. The journey of Orchid Pharma began in 1992 as an export-oriented pharmaceutical company. All was going well until 2016, but then the business took a downturn. The company's offerings of active pharmaceutical ingredients or APIs was facing tough competition from Chinese companies' cheap APIs. Orchid Pharma could not keep up with its margins and its revenue declined. For the year ended March 2017, the company's revenue was 782 crores and the loss was 488 crores. As a result, they could not repay the heavy debts that they had, that is 3,526 crores, and the company had to go for a restructuring and insolvency proceedings. These proceedings are a final attempt to make the business viable again, or to salvage whatever is left of the company and distribute it amongst the creditors and investors in the fairest manner. If you keep the troubles aside, Orchid Pharma was a company of substance. It had government-approved pharma manufacturing facilities which could be a good asset if acquired by other pharmaceutical companies. And so, after a lot of drama and action, the company was finally taken over by Dhanuka Laboratories. They got 98% of the shareholdings, and the retail investors who invested in Orchid Pharma back in 2017 were allotted 1 share for every 218 shares they were holding before the company went under the hammer in 2020. Now imagine if you earn Rs 218 and you are told that Rs 217 will be taken away from you just by a stroke of a pen, won't you be furious? Well, under normal circumstances, entities having significant influence on a company can't hold more than 75% stake in a listed company. But Dhanuka Laboratories got a special treatment for its heroics. So you will have to draw comfort from the fact that if Dhanuka Laboratories would not have saved the day, there would be no Orchid Pharma shares at all. Although with the condition that it will have to reduce its stakes by 75% within 36 months. And this is where the real story begins. The retail investors hold only 0.5% of the shares, 206,480 shares, that are traded on the stock exchange, and they might be unwilling to book losses. So they kept holding onto the shares, creating a situation of scarcity, and scarcity leads to a price surge. One thing leads to another. Seeing the price rise made others excited about the prospects of the company and increased demand for the shares. High demand and scarce supply make any commodity more desirable, leading to a further surge in price. Everyone wants to buy and no one wants to sell. Stock prices could shoot the roof one day or crash to the ground. Well, SEBI also thought so. To stop this from happening, they set a rule. If there are a lot of people willing to buy in comparison to almost negligible people wanting to sell, the price increase is capped at 5%, which varies for different companies. When this happens, market pundits call it circuit lag gaya. But the ball of the price once set in motion only goes one way, up. If not for one day, across several days. And Orchid Pharma was one such company that hit the upper circuit on more than 100 consecutive days. You can see the massive price rise in the chart given. If you wanted to buy the shares when they were rising, chances are you wouldn't have gotten them at all. The massive price rise and people rushing to buy might not be very surprising. What's surprising is that how we fall in the same trap again and again. It's like an episode of Dark, where you keep repeating the same thing over and over. This incident is a repeat telecast of Ruchi Soya's 8800 rally. That's an interesting story in itself, and we have covered it. Go have a read, linked below. And who ends up losing in this game? Us, the retail investors. For this very reason, SEBI has revised its norms. These back from the death companies will now need to have 5% public shareholding at the time of listing itself. No more super small shareholding gimmicks. Hopefully. Well, until next time, read on.